So, my name's AJ Krueger, and just wanted to kind of share my testimony partially and what God has done in my life through a lot of really hard times and what it's meant to me. So, um, I would say probably it's been a year now, but a lot of terrible things happened within my family where my family fell apart, where you know, my dad left, and my brother and myself we lost the house that we were in, and I had to go move into my grandparents' house. My mom and our little baby brother moved into her parents' house, so we were all separated. We didn't see my dad for a super long time, and that was super heartbreaking. And that was just a really terrible time, and that really, really broke my heart. And this was during a time when I was just starting to follow God and really put God first in my life. So when all this happened, it really took a lot of faith for me to stay strong. And I had a girlfriend at the time as well, and I'd been talking to her. We had been together for quite a while. We'd been talking about getting married, and I had like such a love for her, and I cared about her, and I was really expecting to be getting married very soon. And then all that stuff with my family happened, and it was terrible for me, but I was holding on to that. At least I have this relationship with this girl, and I just, I'm following God still. I'm barely hanging on. That's how I felt. And out of nowhere, she gets in contact with me, and she just tells me that she doesn't want to be getting married. She doesn't think we need to be together anymore. And it was out of nowhere, because that was completely the opposite of what she was like before. She wasn't that way at all. She was fully on board with getting married. She was one of the ones to bring it up first. And after that happened, that completely shattered my heart, and she just kind of stepped out of my life. And after that, I felt completely empty, and I had absolutely nothing. I was in a new house that I wasn't accustomed to. My family was completely separated. The girl that I, had all this trust in, that I, was planning a future with, was gone. And I didn't even know, what I was going to be doing with my future anymore. That was my biggest plan. And that was just incredibly heartbreaking for me. And it took me into a really bad place where I fell into like a pretty deep depression, I would say, and I didn't know what to do, and I was trying to hang on to God, and I was trying to live for Him anyways, and it was so hard. And I remember getting to a point where one night I just could not take it anymore, and I wanted to take my life, and I called a bunch of my friends, and I was asking them for encouragement and for prayer, and a bunch of them messaged me back, thank God. And we talked, and I was lifted up just enough to get over that moment, and it was so hard for me. And shortly after that, I felt this, push for God, or from God, telling me basically that I needed to seek Him more, to start serving Him more, and to step out and put Him first in everything. Because something I didn't realize is that, despite how horrible all this stuff was, it was basically taking away, all these things were bad things, but God worked something great out of it, because what I learned from it is that my identity was in all these other things. My identity was in my family. It wasn't necessarily all in God. I was living, trying to honor God, but my identity wasn't in God. My identity was in my family, and that, and my identity was in my girlfriend and my future with her. And to have that taken away made me feel completely empty. And after that, all I had was God. And you hear people say things like, God is enough, and that's all I need. But it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to actually have it happen where that's all you have, where that is the only thing, and when you actually can only have that thing as your identity. And to see that actually carry you over, because losing that stuff actually pushed me to put my identity in God 100%. And so, anyways, like I was saying, losing all that stuff and having God be the only thing that can carry you over a situation, and when you really put your faith in Him and you start seeking Him 100% with your whole heart, and you allow Him to be everything that you have, and you stop seeking other things, God does lift you up and carry you over things. And when bad things happen, we look at them so bad, and we look down on them like it's the worst thing, and it is bad. It's not that it's good, but God uses all things to work, together for good in our lives. And this verse, it's a couple verses here in James. It's chapter 1, verses 2 through 4, really helped me understand and gave me a better grip on what was going on in my life. So it says, "Dear brothers and sisters, when troubles of any kind come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. So let it grow, for when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing." And I just think it's so awesome how it says, when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. That part impacts me so much even right now, because I have seen God set something in my life, in my future. He's opened these doors for me that I've been seeking, I've been pushing to go towards this future hope that He's put in my life. And I don't feel like, even though my family situation is still broken, it's not fixed, even though that girl is still not in my life, even though I don't, have any other girl that I'm trying to pursue or that I even know about, even though, I still don't know 100% where God's taking me, I have a grip on it, I don't feel like I'm lacking anything. I feel like I'm complete and I don't need anything more. So for anybody who feels like something that you've lost has like really broken your heart and you feel so empty about it, you feel like you can't live without it, or maybe something's going on that you've done, or you've done something wrong that has hurt other people and you feel like you can't come back from it. You can come back from it if you put your whole faith in God, if you realize that these terrible things can be used for good, and if you put your identity in God and in what He has for you instead of all these things that the world offers, and you set that as your foundation for what you're building your life on, you will have so much more hope. You will not be lacking anything anymore. And that's how I feel in my life. And God has impacted my heart so much, and He's taken me down this road to where I went from being pretty lukewarm with my Christianity to now getting ready to go to college to be a youth pastor, like within 10 months time, or about a year actually. But it took all this bad stuff to happen to get me to where I am now, to where now I thank God for letting me go through these horrible things, because if I hadn't gone through them, I would still be on this path that I was on before of seeking, a future where the identity is in my wife or my girlfriend or in my family or in my job. And having my identity set in God, in Him alone, has been so much more fulfilling, and it's taking me in a direction that I never expected and that I can actually be so excited about. And I love talking about it because it's such a blessing to me. And I just hope that anybody else that hears this will put God first in their life too, and seek Him and not allow these false identities to be their ruler, but to have God be their identity instead. So just remember that in your guys' lives. And just coming from me, I've lived that out, and it's been so big for me. So thanks for listening, and I hope it helped you.